Hey guys, Pedro here to do an album review. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about Beyond Creation's new album, Algorythm, out right now. The album was released in two separate editions. There's a regular edition that has 10 tracks, about 50 minutes in length, and then there's a deluxe edition with 12 tracks, 64 minutes in length. The two extra tracks on the deluxe edition is the instrumental tracks for Afterlife, song number 10 on the record, and Surface Echoes, song number 3 on the record. Now, let me start by saying this. I picture these guys in Montreal grabbing some Tim Hortons, some donuts, perhaps some poutine, and then walking into the studio to record this record. And the result of that Tim Hortons poutine influences is a very good, solid, different from previous albums record. I really like what they've done with this record. It shows growth. It shows maturity. It shows that they're willing to take some chances. They're willing to change their sound slightly while still keeping their DNA, while still keeping their roots. But they're willing to push the envelope. They're willing to try new things. They're willing to perhaps go where they've never been before. And that's, to me, a good thing for a band putting out a new album. Always willing to try new things, always willing to see what it works, to see how far they can expand their sound, how far they can move their creativity forward. This album, if you're looking at a pendulum and you're wondering if it falls more on the technical death metal side or perhaps more on the progressive death metal side, to me this album falls more towards the progressive side. There is a lot of progressive influences on this record, and that to me is where you see the vast majority of the departure from previous records. They really tried new things. They wanted to see what would work, and they were not afraid to try it and put it on the record. I like that. I like a band that's willing to evolve with time, that it's willing to, change their sound while still keeping true to their roots and to their DNA. That's important. You don't want to have a complete departure from what the fans are used to, but you want to introduce small changes bit by bit and allow the band to evolve, allow the band to grow, and to perhaps expand their horizons. And I feel they've done that with this record. This is a record that really sets itself apart from all the previous records from the band from that perspective. I really liked it. I thought it was very proggy, very atmospheric at times. A lot of atmospheric elements were added to this record, and to me these are all elements that really makes the record very different, very unique from all the previous ones. I also have to say this, the album was incredibly produced and mixed. I really like the sound quality that came out of the record. I like how they are able to incorporate all of their talent and their instruments into the record and not let one single instrument overshadow the others. They were all very well, the sound was extremely well mixed. It's almost like when you're listening to this record, the impression that I had is that all four of them were playing here, and each single one of them had a feed into my brain, and I could somehow process each single instrument separately, but then mix them all in my head together. That's how good the quality of the record is as far as production and mixing is concerned. I really enjoy the record. It's a very good record, very solid record. One thing I would say is this, considering how good those two extra instrumental tracks are on the deluxe edition, because they're basically the instrumental tracks for tracks on the record, I almost feel like they should have released this as a double CD with the 10 tracks on the first CD and then release all the 10 instrumental tracks on the second CD. Because this album, the music is so good. The quality of their musicianship is so good. I would love to have the album as just an instrumental album on the side. So I could listen to the regular album, but then if I just want to get a little bit more deep into the actual music, I could listen to the instrumental tracks. Very atmospheric, very proggy, very different, still with their technical death metal DNA in it, but a very solid, well-rounded album. I really enjoyed it. Now, some fans may feel like there's too much of a departure from previous albums, perhaps not as heavy as some previous albums. I can agree with that, but I think this is where the band is going. This is a little bit of a change for them. The album is still heavy. It's still a solid, heavy album, but it just has a lot of different influences to it. Now, as far as favorite songs are concerned, I have to pick three that spoke to me the most and perhaps added some elements that really surprised me during the listening experience. Ethereal Kingdom is one of them. A very atmospheric start to the song, almost like a cloud of mist that's approaching a harbor in a horror movie. That's the start that I felt from this song. Then the heaviness kicks in. And once the vocals kick in, the heaviness comes with it, and it's almost like the band has awakened from a dark slumber. That's how it felt to me. It felt a very subdued start, very atmospheric start. Then once the vocals kicked in, it was like heaviness, and you awake as a listener to the song. The song really kicks you and allows you to you know, raise your head and, hey, the song is about to start. Not the heavier song on the album by far, but perhaps the most progressive and atmospheric song on the album. This song is very melodic, it's filled with melancholic vibes, like riffs. It's so, there's such a blanket of darkness and despair associated with this song. It's absolutely beautiful. Like I said, very atmospheric track, the most atmospheric track on the record, the most melancholic track on the record by far. I absolutely love it. It's drenched in darkness. One of my favorite songs on the album. Another one of my favorites is Surface Echoes. The heaviness of the chorus is what glued me to this song, is what attracted me to this song. You know, it is moving along, and then the chorus just hits you like a brick wall. It's just so, the chorus is so heavy. The percussions in the chorus brought a smile to my face. Incredible drumming during the chorus of this song. But they continue throughout the solo without overshadowing the solo. They really have them well played. You can still hear how heavy the drums are on this track during the solo, but they're a little bit subdued so that the solo can be in the forefront and can really shine. This is my favorite solo on the record. My favorite solo on the record is on Surface Echoes. I absolutely love the quality of the solo. You know, and then once the solo is over, the track takes a left turn towards heaviness, but always, and this is key throughout the whole record, but specifically with this song, doesn't matter how heavy the song gets, it always allows the bass line to be noticeable. They always allow the bass to come through, and it's incredible how they do that, how they create a very heavy album with heavy drums, specifically this song, Surface Echoes, and never allowing that heaviness to overshadow the bass line. The bass in this song is incredible. It sets the melody, it sets the tone. I really enjoyed it. Another one of my favorite tracks, and my last one on this top 3, is Afterlife. It has a very doomed start. The start of this song, it almost felt, it had some resemblances to early on Paradise Lost, like True Belief, a track like True Belief, the start of True Belief. This song had some resemblances to that. I really liked it. I loved the guitar riff in this song and how brutal the overall song is, but it has a very doomy start to it. Perhaps this song is the one on the record that reminds me of older albums from Beyond Creation the most. Out of every single song on the record, this is the one perhaps that has the deeper roots on their previous albums. But there are two other key components to this song, besides the doom atmospheric start to it, and the fact that it reminded me more of their old albums. There's two elements that I have to mention. One is the solo. This song has another incredible solo, and the other one is the orchestral part that's introduced into this song. I thought it added such dynamic, it added such melody, and it added a beautiful end to the song. The song ends with that orchestra in the background playing, and that's the end that you get to the song. It's absolutely majestic. I love it. I love how they introduced that element. It really added life to the song. It added melody to the song, and it really played well with the kind of solo that they introduced on this song. Really well done. Love Afterlife. It's perhaps my favorite song on the record. Alright guys, this is it for me. Beyond Creation Algorythm is out now. This Canadian band from Montreal put out an amazing record, but I want to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comment section your thoughts on the album, the band, your favorite songs. I want to hear from you guys. See ya.